Welcome back to the channel, and I'm here today with the Proco Rat. This is the most basic actual rat you can buy. This is the Chinese-made version. I got it for $69.99. I think it's $79.99 now from the major online retailers. It's a great pedal. I'm going to link below Josh Scott of JHS's great video talking about all things rat. He mentioned this pedal and speaks highly of it. Again, it's the same circuit as the American-made ones, and if you want to try out a rat, this is the one to get. This is a fantastic distortion pedal. Most of you have probably heard of it. Many of you have probably played it, but if you haven't, it is extremely versatile. I will let others who are more knowledgeable get into the technical details, like, again, that Josh Scott video will have all the information you need. But what I want to do is demonstrate various settings with various guitars and a couple of different amps in a home setting where you can't crank it as loud as you want. But I think that's how most of us play, so hopefully that will be helpful. Just a little bit about the pedal itself. The distortion knob speaks for itself, but this is highly versatile. On the lower end of distortion, it's a nice, more subtle overdrive. On this end, it gets close to fuzz territory and everything in between. It is maybe overall the most versatile distortion pedal I've ever played. The filters and EQ control, brighter, darker, and it really does make a huge variance in the sound, and volume speaks for itself. Though obviously, depending on the amp especially, how much volume is coming from the pedal can affect the tone, but for simplicity's sake, and in my home setting here, I'm leaving it on 5. That'll also help the samples be consistent. The Boss Katana is the first amp I will use. All the EQs will be set to noon. I will also use a Fender Champion 600, which has no EQ controls. That's a very small Fender tube amp, and that will give you a good idea of how this sounds through two very different amps. The first sound sample is going to be trying out various settings with the filter and distortion knobs just to demonstrate it on the different pickup settings of my American original 60s Telecaster through the Katana, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of what the pedal will do. Then what I'm going to do is play 5 sets of sound samples with 5 different guitars through the Boss and through the Fender amps. Start out with the American original Telecaster, then a Squier Classic Vibe 60s Telecaster, then a Squier Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster, then a Paul Reed Smith S2 Standard 24, and finally a G&L ASAT Special. So I'm going to play these same riffs and licks with each guitar through each amp, and that will give you a pretty good idea of what this can do in different settings. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. hope that was illuminating into what you can do with the Proco Rat. I thought that there was definitely a big difference in the sounds of the two amps. The Fender amp with the much smaller speaker was definitely brighter, at times perhaps harsher, but there's some application in which that might be useful. And again, this was all through the clean setting on the Katana. It would sound different if you went through the crunch or the even higher gain settings on that amp. But I think that gives you a pretty good idea of what the Rat can do. Again, even this most basic Rat, I think overall it sounded great with all the guitars. One of my big takeaways is that I continue to be, if you see my other videos, impressed that I'm not sure that this G&L ASAT Special isn't the best sounding overall guitar that I have, in my opinion, but they all sounded great, and they all sound great for different things, and that's just the beauty of it. You get a pedal like this, and you get just a world of possibilities with just a few different amps and pedals. And that's to say nothing of gain staging with different overdrives or distortions. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what this can do. So again, if you've never tried one of these, I highly suggest you try one out. Get this one for $79.99. It's a bargain. Maybe then you'll be interested in getting the higher end versions or the JHS Rat with all the different settings, which you'll see the link to a video about that in the description, which again is a great history of the Rat, and Josh Scott can go over the technical details much better than me. But this is just a fantastic pedal. I'm happy I was able to share it with you. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask them below or any comments. And until next time, keep on rocking.